In this section, we're going to continue with the file API. What we're going to do here is we're going to create an application that will display the contents of the root directory on the phone or on the mobile device. And we're also going to style it. We're going to use JQuery Mobile, which we haven't really used yet. It's just a fantastic UI helper, so it gives us a nice header, footer, nice background gradients, stuff like that. So we're going to implement that in this section. What we have here is a blank index.html file. We have a JavaScript folder with the latest jQuery. What we need to do now is we need to get the jQuery Mobile file. So let's go to our browser and we'll just say, I think it's jQueryMobile.com. Alright, so we just want to click on the latest stable version. And we have a couple options here. We can use the CDN hosted files, but you don't want to do that in a mobile app because if there's no internet connection, things probably won't work right. So we're going to go ahead and download the minified version, and let's do a Control U to view the source, and we'll just select all and copy. Alright, so we can close that, and in NetBeans we want to create a new JavaScript file in the JS folder called jQuery.mobile slash what was it, 1.3.2. Let me just check the file name. Alright, so it's 1.3.2.min.js. Okay, actually we don't need the JS because NetBeans puts the extension on automatically. Alright, so let's paste our code and save that and then close it. And we also want to use the CSS file that comes with jQuery Mobile. So I'm going to create a new folder called CSS, and let's create a file, a new cascading style sheet, and it's going to be called jQuery.mobile slash 1.3.2.min. So same name as the actual JavaScript file, and we can get that CSS minified with default theme. Yes, that's what we want. Let's view the source and can copy all this code, go back, paste it in, and it's a minified version, so everything's all squished together, but that's fine. We don't need to read anything from this file. Alright, so we have our jQuery folders and files. Now we just need to let's create our HTML. So I'm just going to paste that in. Alright, so what we're doing is we are including the CSS file, the jQuery CSS file, the standard jQuery JavaScript file, the jQuery Mobile JavaScript file, and the Cordova.js file, which gets put on after we enter our app into the PhoneGap build. And we have this empty script space to work with. But first I want to do the HTML, the body HTML. And I'm actually going to type this out. But I'm going to go to the jQuery mobile site just so I can show you how a standard app is built using the single page display. So we want to go to, where is it? UI, I believe. No, that's not it. jQuery. No, that's not it either. API. Alright, so let's see. Might be under widgets. No, so I'm just going to do a Google search for JQuery Mobile single page template. Alright, so this is an example of a single page template. You can see if we make this smaller, or actually let's just enable ripple. And we're going to use PhoneGap version 1. And you can see that we have a nice little template with a header and a footer. You can add some styling if you want the footer to stick to the bottom. We can also add back buttons and so forth. So let's look at the structure of a single page. So you can see in the body tags, that's where we want to look. We have a data role. Alright, so jQuery uses this data role attribute to define certain parts of the page. The top attribute being page, data role page. And inside page we have data role header, and we can put what we want inside the header. Then we have the data role content, which is just the main content of the page. And that's really it. And you just stick whatever you want. You can put copyright in the footer. Very easy to use. And it comes out really nice. So let's go back to NetBeans, and we're gonna create our page. So we want a div with the attribute data role, and like I said, the top level data role is going to be called page. Okay, so in that, everything should be wrapped within the page data role. Let's say create another div, data role of header. And you don't have to use divs. You can use some of the new HTML elements like section, so it doesn't have to be a div. So in the header, let's just call this, let's make it an H2, and we'll just call it my directories. And that's all we want for the header. So next is the content. Whoop, what did I do there? And for the content, all we're going to do here is set a unordered list, and we're going to use JavaScript to insert our files, our folders from the directory. So we're going to do ul id is going to be equal to directory list or dir list, and this we can also style lists with jQuery Mobile. So we can do that by adding a data role to this element, and we're going to call it list view. Well, no, we're going to call it. It's called list view. You have to use that. And we also want to set another attribute called data inset, and we want to set that to true. Alright, so that's really all we need for now. Now we can start writing our, actually no, we need to have the footer, so let's just copy the header and change that to footer, and we'll just say copyright 2013. Alright, so let's save that and take a look. We want to go to our app, reload. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. It's not showing any style or anything. Let's see. Fail to load resources. Test app, CSS, JQuery Mobile. It's not reading the CSS file, so let's make sure that that's correct. jQuery.mobile/132. I'm going to copy that. I don't know if I'm missing something. Oh, did I forget the min? Let's see, let's check that out. Alright, so now it's working. I just forgot the min. So we have our header, our content area, and our copyright. So that's it. That's all we need for our jQuery Mobile template. And there's a couple. You can do either a single page and just use regular links for navigation, or you could, let's say we want an about page. We could just give this page an ID of home, and we could create a whole nother page div and call this about. Alright, so this wouldn't show on your home page, this area. In order to see this, you could create a link that goes to a hashtag and then about, and that will navigate to the about page, because jQuery, its navigation is a little different. It uses Ajax, so this is how you could do this is actually called a multiple page template, because you're having multiple pages in the template. So a standard way of doing it is called a single page template. Alright, let's get rid of this. Alright, so we can just keep that ID. So now we need to do our JavaScript. So we're only going to create a couple functions here. I'm going to paste in the first. So what we're doing here, we're initializing a file object. We're calling the device ready event listener, and then we have the on device ready function, which will run when the device is ready. And we've seen this before, this window.request file system. It's persistent, so it can't be deleted unless we want to delete it, and it's calling the on file system success callback. So let's write or paste that in. Alright, so this is taking a file system parameter, and we can use that. We've seen this too, file system.root.getDirectory. Now it's going to look for this, some directory in the root of the structure, and if it's not there, it's going to create it, because we have create true, and we're saying exclusive false. Okay, so it's gonna, if it doesn't work for some reason, it's gonna call this on error. Alright, so now we can do fs.root.getFile, and same thing, it's gonna create it if it's not there. It's this file called pgtest.txt. And here we have a directory reader variable that's being assigned this create reader object. And then finally, we're going to get a list of all the files and folders in the root structure, and we can do that with this read entries method, which takes 2 callbacks, which we'll create now. Okay, so we have our success function, which is being called here. And this is where we're going to actually create our HTML as well. So we have a variable, a couple variables we're initializing at the top here. We're going to have a for loop, and that's going to read through the entries. And what I mean by entries is either folders or files, whatever is in that directory. So as long as there are files or folders, we're going to loop through and we're going to display them down here. Okay. Now we're also saying if it is a directory, then the object type will be equal to directory. If not, then it'll be a file. And here we're taking the ID of dir list, which is our UL down here, and we're going to append the list items. And since we're looping through the files, we can use the different properties such as the name, the link, which is to URI, so we're including those. In this last right here, this dot list view refresh, since we're using Ajax, sometimes certain formatting won't show up if the page isn't reloaded or refreshed. So we're going to refresh the list view here just so we can keep that styling. So let's save that. Actually, we have one more to create, and that's the error. So let's punch that in real quick. Whoop, that's not it. Alright, so we have this onError function, which is just going to alert us the error code. So that's it. Let's save that. And we can go and refresh in Ripple, but it's not going to show anything because there's no file system. This isn't a real device, so it's not going to work in a browser. So what I'm going to do is continue this in the coming video and just show you how it works.